Caseus. Jedi Exile. Chapter 12. The sun had almost set in the sky, casting a golden-orange light over the landscape. Sabo had managed to find a half-empty canister with just enough fuel to get them back. When they reached the town, they dropped off Kala and Liara, who had stayed quiet the entire trip. Looking at the town, Caseus could see that although they had successfully defeated the stormtroopers, several homes and lives had been lost. Thankfully, Dogan came to greet Liara and Kala, his arm in a sling. Kala and Liara held him close, looking over to Caseus as he and Sabo returned to the farm, where Caseus stood, looking upon his home of 8 years. Sabo, it's time for me to go. When the Empire finds out that Inquisitor is dead, they'll send others to Dantooine. I've brought enough trouble here. Sabo sighed and looked at Caseus.
Where will you go?
I'll figure something out. First, I need to find a ship to get me off-world. I wouldn't make it far in one of those Imperial ships, though. Sabo stroked his beard.
I may have something. Help me clear the barn.
Caseus raised an eyebrow but followed Sabo as they moved all of the large equipment and tools, revealing the metal floor with a large door covering it.
Stand back.
Caseus stepped back as Sabo flipped a switch, causing the large door to separate and open as something raised up out of the floor. A very old starship. Caseus couldn't even make out what model it was. What is this?
This is your ticket off Dantooine. I've kept it here in case I ever needed to leave. I doubt that's ever going to happen anytime soon, however. I built it myself 20 years ago. Call her the Nebulous. Pre-Empire, so tracking you will be difficult for anyone trying to find you. No weapons, but you can modify it all you want later.
Sabo, I can't take this.
You can, and you will. You've done more than enough to earn it. Thanks to your help, I'll be able to retire before too long. Besides, you need it more than I do. Just give me the night to get her ready for flight and you can head out in the morning.
Caseus put a hand on the hull of the ship. This was more than he deserved. Sabo was the one who saved him and gave him a home. Now he was leaving in the morning.
Get your stuff ready and get some sleep. I'll see you in the morning.
Caseus nodded and went inside, gathering his clothes, his bag of supplies, and everything he owned that he would need. Then, he sat down in his bed and fell asleep. In the morning, as soon as the sun rose, Caseus was helping Sabo make a few final touch-ups to the engines, when they heard a speeder come by. Turning around, Caseus saw Kala, Dogan, and Liara. Walking over, Caseus stood in front of them. I'm glad you came by. I wanted to say goodbye to you in person before I left. Dogan and I are saying goodbye. But I've talked with him. And after thinking it over, I've decided that Liara needs to go with you. Caseus' eyes grew wide. What? Kala whispered to Dogan and stepped out, taking Caseus aside. He could see in her eyes that she had been crying for a while. Caseus, you were right. Liara won't be safe here. Not anywhere. Unless she's been trained. When the Empire shows up again, you won't be here. And I can't risk them finding her. I'm giving you my blessing to teach Liara the ways of the Force. Kala, it's going to be dangerous. I know. Just promise me. Promise me you'll keep her safe. Don't let anything happen to her. I'm trusting you. Caseus looked into Kala's eyes and took her hand. I promise you. I will train Liara. As long as she's in my care, I won't let anyone hurt her. You have my word. Kala's eyes welled with tears as she went over to Liara, who hugged her mother, crying, Mom, why can't you come? Liara, my place is here. You have a gift that I don't, and you need to learn how to use it. Caseus will help keep you safe and teach you. But it's not safe for you here. I need you to understand. Liara looked at the ground and held on tightly to her mother as Dogen came over to her side.
Liara, be strong. For all of us. Make us proud. We love you so much.
Liara nodded and grabbed her things. We'll see each other again, sweetie. I promise. Liara smiled through her tears as she hugged her mother and uncle one last time.
Caseus, the ship is ready.
Caseus walked to Sabo as the two looked at each other.
I can't thank you enough, Sabo. It was my honor, Caseus. The galaxy needs the Jedi. I see that now. You take care of that girl. She's your responsibility now.
I will. Sabo reached out his hand as Caseus took it and shook, before hugging Sabo, who chuckled and returned the hug.
Go on, boy. May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you, Sabo. The ramp to the ship opened as Caseus looked at Liara and held out his hand. Slowly, Liara took it and walked inside with him, staring back at her mother as the ramp closed. They made their way to the cockpit and strapped in. All the controls were set, and the engines were primed as Caseus took one more look at the Dantooine sunrise before flying off into the sky. Where are we going? I know someone who might be able to help us find somewhere safe to train you. After that, I'm going to teach you about what it means to be a Jedi. Liara nodded and looked at the stars as Caseus put his hand on the lightspeed ignition. Ready? Ready. Smiling, Caseus pressed the switch as the stars stretched around them, blasting them off to follow their new paths.